Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're tackling a huge topic in business, growth. You know, it's supposed to be the ultimate sign of success, but if you're not careful, it's also the very thing that can cause the whole enterprise to just implode.
So let's kick things off with a puzzle that every business leader wrestles with. How can the one thing that signals health and strength, growth, also become your biggest vulnerability? The secret, it turns out, isn't about whether you grow, but how you do it.
All right, so first, let's get into why growth is so seductive. Why is there this constant, intense pressure in the business world to get bigger and bigger and bigger?
I mean, from the moment a company is born, it's drilled into everyone's heads. If you're not growing, you're failing. Simple as that. Growth becomes this proxy for health, for ambition, for dominating your market. It's a story every founder wants to tell, and it's definitely the story every investor wants to hear.
And this isn't just a feeling. You know, it's a hard number. Just to put it in perspective, the average revenue growth for companies in the S&P 500 in 2024 was 8.3%. That's kind of the baseline you're being judged against. It just shows that relentless, constant push to expand. If you're not hitting numbers like that, you feel like you're falling behind.
And when you get it right, the payoff can be absolutely massive. Just look at Apple's push into financial services. By expanding their world, they pulled in an extra $4 billion in revenue in a single quarter of 2024. I mean, with a prize that big, you can see why so many are willing to roll the dice.
But that chase for those huge numbers is exactly what can lead a company straight into a pitfall. We're talking about the growth trap. This statement right here, it goes against everything we're taught to believe about growth at all costs. Because when you expand too fast, without any control, you're not building something stronger. You're just stretching all your resources thin, you're diluting your company culture, and you risk breaking the very operational machine that made you successful.
And if you want proof, look no further than WeWork. Their whole strategy was this breakneck global expansion, and it led to one of the most incredible, most spectacular flameouts we've seen in years. It wiped out $47 billion in valuation. They tried to be everywhere, all at once, and they ended up losing control of everything.
And you might think the WeWork story is just a dramatic, one-off event. But it's not. This data from 2024 is pretty shocking. For mid-sized firms, overexpansion is the single biggest cause of a major financial crisis. At 38%, it's a bigger threat than the market suddenly shifting or even your direct competitors.
Which, of course, brings us to the real question, the one everyone wants the answer to. How do you feed that growth engine without letting it spin out of control and crash? Well, believe it or not, there's actually a formula for this. In the world of finance, they call it the sustainable growth rate, or SGR. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a speed limit for your company. It calculates the fastest you can grow using your own profits and a safe level of debt. It's a tool to stop your ambition from forcing you to take on crazy, dangerous risks.
But you know, a formula is just a tool. To really make it work, you need more than that. You need a disciplined mindset. Smart growth is really an art form, a strategy.
This art of strategic growth really comes down to three core ideas. First, make your decisions based on cold, hard data, not just ego or a gut feeling. Second, master your home turf before you try to conquer the entire world. And third, and this one is so important, never lose that core identity, that magic that made you special to begin with.
I love this quote because it completely reframes the goal. It's saying the real prize isn't just getting bigger, it's about scaling with precision and total control. In a business culture that's obsessed with speed, having that kind of discipline, well, that's the real luxury. That's what separates the great from the fallen.
And a perfect example of this in action is the luxury giant LVMH. I mean, they're always acquiring new brands, but they do it with such incredible discipline. They make sure every single new company fits that exclusive, high-end position. And the results in 2024 speak for themselves, a 9% pop in profits and a 15% boost to their brand equity. Now that is growth with control.
So ultimately, companies have two main paths to get bigger. There's organic growth, that's building everything from the inside. It's slower, yeah, but you have way more control. Then there are acquisitions, basically buying your growth. It's faster, for sure, But it comes with this huge risk of whether you can actually make the new piece fit. The smartest companies, they use a careful mix of both, balancing that need for speed with the need for stability.
And finally, all of this is pushing us towards a really fundamental shift in how we even define what a successful company looks like. The goalposts, they're definitely moving. It's just not about the quarterly profit reports anymore. Today, real, lasting success is also measured by things like customer loyalty, the trust people have in your brand, and your company's actual impact on society and the environment. It's about building value that actually endures. And don't mistake this for some soft, feel-good metric. It's not. In 2024, companies with high scores in environmental, social, and governance, that's ESG, they actually outperformed the global market index by 7%. It turns out doing good is actually really good for business. So what this all means is that we have a whole new scorecard for success. It's shifting the focus away from just short-term profit grabs and towards long-term resilience. It's asking, how much is a customer worth over their lifetime? Do people trust us? Do our employees want to stay? This is how you spot a business that's truly built to last.
And Patagonia is the poster child for this new way of thinking. They're famous for their slow, deliberate, values-first growth. They prioritize sustainability over just getting bigger fast. And the result? They've built this incredibly loyal community, and that loyalty translates directly to the bottom line, increasing the lifetime value of their customers by a solid 12%.
So if you walk away with just one thought today, let it be this. The companies that win in the long run aren't always the fastest growing. The real winners are the ones that treat growth like a calculated journey, not some frantic, desperate race to the top.
And so, we'll leave you with this one last question. Think about a company you really admire. And looking at how they actually operate, ask yourself, are they just built for a quick burst of speed, or are they truly built to last? The answer might tell you everything you need to know. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.